From scroll to codex. Humans are both agents and subjects of change, inventing technology while social practice in turn precipitates development. Shifting from scroll to codex evolved knowledge bases for learners, educators, administrators, parents, and the general public. Scrolls present text as uninterrupted sequences, appropriate for record keeping and written narratives. Linear representation prevents random access, hindering association, emphasizing hierarchy. Ancient readers could not jump between sections without rolling out completely, lacking separated pages. Papyrus was manufactured from plants as early as the first Egyptian dynasty, around 3100 BC. Processes involved beating reed skins under the sun, stretching crosswise with minor variations specific to region and era. Other pliable media were fashioned from cloth, birch, bark, leaves, and durable metals like copper, silver, and gold. Glued papyrus sheets formed seamless joints, providing strength and flexibility, though writing on the side containing perpendicular strips remained difficult. Manufactured rolls combined no more than 20 sheets, averaging total dimensions of 30 feet long and 10 inches wide. The material was graded on thickness, fineness, and whiteness as imperial or royal qualities. Egyptian scrolls remained common until 100 AD, preserving biblical literature, surviving dry climates written on papyrus. Ancient libraries organized rolls by subject and author, later by faculty and alphabetical. Alright, so here's a scroll. Usually you would identify them with a tag of some sort. There's been little evidence of scrolls being read vertically. Most of the documentation I found is being read horizontally. You would actually unroll the scroll towards the right here. You'd slowly read the columns horizontally, and then as you finish that section, you would continue to re-roll it from the other side. Sometimes the text format and the font itself may actually be unequal columns, but you just gradually unroll that one there. Okay, and gradually read that over. Okay. Okay. All right, and when you near the end, we read to the last column there. We're going to realize that the bulk of the text is actually on the left side. You would actually need to unwind it, basically go through the same process, unrolling it all the way, rewinding it like an old VHS tape before you can put it away for the next reader. Narrow columns accommodated horizontal scrolling, though sheet width did not determine text width. Papyrus columns were 8 to 10 inches high, containing between 25 to 45 lines, with wider lower margins. Family guilds used several pen-like calamos instruments, varying in color and width for different purposes. No more scroll was revealed until necessary, and written surfaces could partially be rubbed clean for reuse, leaving outside surfaces blank. In rare occasions when reverse sides were used, papyrus was rotated 180 degrees, so text appeared upside down, traveling in contrary directions. Wooden rods were attached to ease scrolling, giving stiffness to prevent bending. Rolls were either stored upright in capsule boxes or horizontally on shelves. Because scrolls were meant to be read aloud, no distinction was made between upper and lower cases, with text mainly written in capitals. Punctuation added later was rather arbitrary, leaving no word divisions, contributing towards a poor sense of climax and closure. Referencing within enclosed segments was challenging, especially because columns varied in length and size. Additionally, constant unrolling caused abrasion, wearing materials down. Works needing multiple rows became cumbersome to store and inefficient to transport. Later social changes hindering raw papyrus availability from Egypt paved for the almost universal adoption of parchment made from cattle, sheep, and goat skins. Parchment would then be replaced by paper, being relatively economical and impermeable. Bolter described shifting media as remediation, involving both competition and integration. As Codex transformed linear reading to random access, many ancient texts were left behind, leveraging the opportunity to remove sources no longer culturally relevant. How exactly codices became invented remains uncertain. Perhaps scrolls were accidentally crushed, becoming folded like an accordion. Julius Caesar was later attributed with flattening rows and stacking them into pages. 3 common media remained prevalent for a time: scrolls, wax tablets, and codices, each serving different uses. Scrolls were used for archiving documents, whereas disposable tablets were used for correspondence notes. Bundled parchment blocks were named Codex for being able to grasp in one hand, serving to prototype modern books. The earlier church quickly adopted codices for practicality, offering secrecy for persecuted Christians by concealing documents under garments. Page books were lightweight and portable, introducing unique experiences with enhanced functionalities. Codex remediates information architecture, reconsidering visual text, image aesthetics, and white space. It provides structural overviews, dividing chapters into headings, organizing subjects alphabetically. Table of contents and indices enable cross-referencing with footnotes, employing outside surfaces to facilitate search and identification according to content. Table of contents and page numbers double to inform the seller of book structure and the buyer of purchase completeness. Learners can annotate dictations using margins, glossing over pure comments. Codex extends literacy through non-linear exploration, introducing tools to navigate text arrangement. Such features established in Codex increase accessibility, optimizing power over reading flow, as a paper equivalent to random access memory. Codex provides multiple entry points, opening possibilities to divert paths based on interest, attention, or intention. It enables jumping instantaneously to any point in text, skimming passages for boredom or rereading sections. Codex enhanced information survival, accommodating multiple texts, transforming preservation and dissemination. Soft binding remained durable, while hardbound covers flush with pages were later extended for upright storage. Codex was visually more sophisticated, flipping through pages with consistent formatting, effectively recovering text with backward scanning. Continuous scrolls replaced by discontinuous codex modified text reception and protection. Pages established frame reading along multiple axes for greater context, layering possible readings with new skills in finding, selecting, processing, and presenting. For typical codices, Turner's rule of thumb described bottom margins as being larger by 3 to 2, column heights as being twice the breadth, with lines that often extended towards the inner margins, not common in scrolls. Accepting Codex was slow, taking many centuries, only achieving parity with scroll around 300 AD, associated with the rise of Christianity. Christians distributed Codex Bibles to differentiate from Jewish scripture and pagan scrolls, conveniently combining heterogeneous segments like Genesis and Revelation, threatening the dominance of Judaism. Codex advanced mass literacy, encompassing longer texts, holding several times as much content as rolls, written on both sides, eliciting different hands. Codex invited knowledge beyond linear text, while being extremely compact to shelves, conserving library space. Although it is wrong to think books were invented with printing, the technology did favor the development of Codex, inevitably becoming faster and cheaper while improving copy accuracy. Mechanized press enabled mass production, making print appear complete as self-contained works that no longer accommodated changes. Printing indefinite quantities resulted in far more copies produced than sold, causing prices to drop. The sudden expansion of available information allowed variable length codices to reinvent fixed length scrolls. When private book ownership was forbidden, communal libraries were essential, with monks copying documents for the Pope, as editors supplied punctuation checking quires, developing standardizations for script. Codex later enabled individual possession, introducing sizes suitable for private silent reading. Smaller books were written in dual columns, becoming the norm, eventually replaced by long lines, making use of in-between spaces. Flipping between double-page spreads compartmentalized text into chunks, with page breaks occurring mid-sentence, possibly interrupting syntax, style, and rhythm. Codex facilitated intuitive associations, viewing text holistically, understanding specific portions in context, by improving scanning, skimming, bookmarking, and referencing. Gender and education was later found to impact reading performance, correlating traditional linear text with greatest literal comprehension. Given individual differences in retention, printed material should not exceed 70 characters per line, with learning enhanced by mild time pressure. Both scroll and codex involve technical skills, each framing unique literacy environments. Experienced scroll readers efficiently rewrote papyrus, emphasizing concentration learning for short-term memory. Modern word processors mimic scrolling, replicating print on computer screens, gradually unfolding information, reducing larger quantities to immediately relevant texts. Scroll bars identify relative location using arbitrary tabbing commands, similar to navigating book pages. Digital media now incorporate elements of legibility, tangibility, directness, and engagement based on previous text technologies. Compact ebooks incorporate searchable functionality, though occasionally experience lags in response time and uneven motion. Print codex, however, does not require batteries or electronic displays, maintaining elegance, clarity, and comfort, engaging memory using hands and sight in bound books. As such, pedagogy must connect appropriate representation modes towards curriculum construction. Technologies introduce affordances and limitations that differ with social usage, prioritizing resources for meaning, literacy, and multimodality, always significant, but not always better. Shifting from scroll to codex transform knowledge with nonlinear accessibility, though information opportunities both sequential and random vary with environment, impacting school learning and realizing new problems.